If you hear me scream, it's because I dinged myself with the needle. There's a good chance that I will not damage myself, so no worries about that. There we go. Now, when you're doing the nose piece, this little thing, when you do this, you can either create a pocket and then slide that in and then seal the pocket over the top of it, or you can stitch it into place and then just seal it. Either way is perfectly fine. Some people want to be able to take this piece out. I know that I can unstitch things, so I don't always think of that. But a ladder stitch to close that last bit is usually good. Or you can do a whip stitch. Whip stitch is going to have a little bit more texture, so if you have a sensitive nose bridge, it could cause some minor irritation or just itchiness, just meh. But a ladder stitch will give you a nice, like, invisible closure. That way when you have to, like, peel it open, it also does make it easier to kind of pop it real quick in case you have an issue. Oops, forgot to tie that off. Also, if you're working with thread that is polyester thread, not cotton or silk, if you want to seal the ends so they don't untie themselves or stick out or anything, you can just take a lighter or a flame, open flame, literally just pass it by a couple times. It'll cause it to melt up and seal itself, so you don't have to worry about it undoing itself over time. Now, for this particular mask, if you want something that lays just real snug without doing I like to do the cross just because it keeps it on. Do your bottom elastic shorter by at least 4 inches or so, and that'll make sure that it closes in tight on the neckline. I like to actually do the nose strap snug here, and then actually having to take the lower strap and bringing it across the crown of my head. That keeps things from actually shifting and moving around. So that's why I cut them the same length. If you want something that it's straight across here and then straight back here, you need to subtract about 4 inches or so from your elastic. Just kind of like double check the length before you stitch everything into place. And you'll be fine. Sorry, making sure that bites snugly. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be stitching past it. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to show you basically how to put the two halves together, and then the last part I'll just verbally walk you through it. But luckily it's honestly it's not difficult, so don't psych yourself out. Seriously, honestly. Okay, so make it so all of your elastic is here on the inside and facing inwards. See how that's that? Right sides together. I know it seems counterintuitive, but right sides together so all you can see is like a bunch of seam lines and ugliness. That's what you want to see. Now we're going to put some strategic pins in. So, one to hold your center line. Try not to nail yourself with it. One to hold and show you where your elastic is. Okay, so we've got those in there. And we come down to here. It's going to feel like a little lumpy and weird. That's just because all of that elastic and everything is just being put in there. Okay, so make sure your corners are lined up. You don't actually, here's the thing, I have to tell you this now. You don't want your seam lines directly lined up so they're perfectly on top of each other. That would create a lot of extra. You actually want them slightly off. And that way you don't have actually as many layers set together. Your machine will thank you for it. If you're hand sewing, trust me, your hands will thank you for it too. Okay. Okay. Pin in the middle. Hold it. Okay, so got this package now. You're going to stitch from, actually I'm going to move this pin. You're going to stitch from here, basically just past your elastic, to here. Again, just past your elastic. Okay. This nose piece, if you want to, you can stitch it in beforehand. Just hand stitch it. So, tack your loop on there. Stitch it underneath your seam allowance. So that way when your seam allowance folds back, it's fine. So stitch it underneath the seam allowance, underneath your seam allowance, and then to your other side underneath the seam allowance. This will create a bridge piece, basically. Pardon as you're going to get a close-up of my face. This creates a bridge piece that goes past the labial fold. The labial fold of the nose, and will create a pinch point that you can make it much snugger so it actually lays across your face as tightly as possible and will allow as little outside air that hasn't been pulled in and filtered in through the mouth and nose through the fabric. Surgical masks leave a lot open. So, okay. So, let me okay. So, start just past the elastic. I usually like to start with my needle down just so I know that it's not going to strike the pin directly. Take my marker pin out. Remember, back, forth, back, just to solidify stuff into place. Gently move. Okay, so we're at the corner. I'm taking this out. Corners take more stress. You want to make sure that they've been reinforced. Make sure that your needle is down. Rotate so that you're, again, lined up with your seam line. Every couple inches, make sure you kind of readjust. And if you ironed beforehand, it actually gives you a much easier visual clues to follow, so that you're not getting lost or off track. If you need to readjust something, usually you want to put your needle down, readjust, pull some things out of the way. There we go. Taking that corner pin out. Rotating. Make sure that you take your pins out, especially before you flip everything right side out. Okay. Okay, and then just go just past your elastic. Okay, pull that out. Clip. Take out your marker pins. Trim up any of your threads. You can do that after you flipped everything out, but you know, this just makes it easier. So see how you have this pocket? Let me take this out of the way. Again, a great workout. So you see how you have this pocket. Beep. La la la. Reach down. Okay, see, that flips everything around for you. And then doot, 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 doot. Okay. So now if you've ironed your seam lines beforehand, or your seam allowance beforehand, it's pretty easy to figure out where everything's supposed to be. Pull. This you can easily clip and take off the extra. This will flip under. I'll put the nose piece in there and just tack it, or not tack it, but stitch it on, hand stitch, and then I'll hand stitch this part closed. Yeah, just give a little tug, make sure you've trimmed what you got to trim, iron what you need to iron, and if you want to do a stitch, like a top stitch, basically put it in the machine, stitch along that edge all the way around to this other side. And there you will have a secure face mask. So yeah, last couple things to do. Now this is going to go over basically past your eye level. This will go around your neck, but come back up so it sits like a cross strap. And that'll keep anything from moving or shifting or whatnot. So, well, I'm going to sign off for today because I got a powerhouse, apparently quite a few more of these together, and we will be good. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope to be on about 9-10 o'clock California Standard Time, PST, or Pacific Standard Time, I should say. And then hopefully again tomorrow night. If you have any questions, by all means, let me know. Send me a whisper, send me a chat. It's all good. I do all kinds of advice and whatnot, so I'm used to it. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on all the different platforms. Thank you for making this my first mob crush, which I actually had a rather good amount of fun on this. So have a good one, guys.